Are you a fan of the Far Cry series? If yes, then what's your favorite Far Cry game? I'm sure most of you guys are gonna say Far Cry 3. But do let me know down in the comment section and let's carry on with Far Cry 5, the only Far Cry game set in the United States, released in 2018. The story is set in Hope County, a fictional region of Montana. So yeah, in terms of location and setting, this is a bit of a departure from the more exotic locations featured in the past Far Cry games like the Pacific Islands in Far Cry 3 or the Himalayan regions in Far Cry 4. Is this new setting actually good? Well, that is a little subjective. It's definitely refreshing, but it is not as exotic as any of the locations featured in the past Far Cry games. What do you guys think about the setting of this game? Do let me know down in the comment section. Anyways, the gameplay is the standard Far Cry affair. If you are familiar with any of the past Far Cry games, you're gonna be feeling right at home here. Though there are some changes and cool new features, but the basic formula overall remains the same. You are gonna be clearing and capturing outposts of enemies, and you are gonna be freeing and helping civilians. The radio towers or bell towers from the past games have now been removed, and in order to unlock story events, side quests, and other major characters, you have to interact with NPCs. So yeah, that is a change. And then the game features the new ability of being able to tame wild animals, and they're gonna be able to assist you in combat, and you're gonna be able to order them as well. And then you have got a new mechanic of fishing, and a decent variety of fish can be caught. And just like some of the past Far Cry games, there is a recruitment system present here, so you can recruit locals to fight along with you. And along with the locals, you have specialist characters with unique abilities whom you can recruit, and they're gonna be a great help in combat. Shooting mechanics are actually pretty nice, with stuff like bullet drop off, etc., adding to the realism and immersion. This game also emphasizes close quarters combat with shotguns and close range weapons, and then a decent amount of melee weapons as well, which adds to the overall gameplay variety. The RPG elements from the past Far Cry games obviously return here, so your character grows and gets stronger as you keep playing the game, which is really cool. The game world is divided into regions, each region being under control of a side villain. Each region has a resistance meter. Fill it up by clearing and capturing outposts, completing side quests, destroying enemy assets, helping and rescuing civilians, and once the meter has been maxed out, you are gonna be up for a boss fight against the boss of that region. Take out the boss and the region will be completely free of enemy influence. Take out the bosses of all the regions and then you're gonna be up against the main antagonist. So with that, let's head to the story. You play as a mute rookie sheriff, only known as the Deputy, who is a part of a special task force sent to arrest Joseph Seed, the head of a doomsday cult known as the Eden's Gate, wreaking havoc in Hope County, Montana. The game has a strong intro, and this Eden's Gate, these guys are really serious business. They are pretty nuts. And things obviously go wrong for you, and then you slowly build up resistance to take them out eventually. Just like the past Far Cry games, this game also features multiple endings with branching storylines. The story starts strong, but overall it is a mediocre one. But the biggest highlight of this title has to be the antagonist, Joseph Seed and his family. Jacob Seed, John Seed, and Faith Seed, all these guys, they have amazing personalities. And they are probably the best side villains in the entire Far Cry series. And the head of the family, Joseph Seed, he is not as charismatic as Voss or Pagan Min, but he's certainly a very interesting character and a menacing one as well. And in the end, you eventually find out that he did have some logic behind his actions. So yeah, the Seed family is the biggest highlight of this title. As the side villains, they give this game an amazing personality. The story is weak, but these characters, they really raise it up. Another major plus point of this title has to be the huge amount of weapons with cool customization features. Pistols, revolvers, shotguns, melee weapons, assault rifles, machine guns, rocket launchers. Almost all of them are customizable, and all this makes it really cool and enjoyable overall. There's so much stuff to try out here. And I personally really love the fact that this game also has weapons from World War II era, like the MP40 and stuff, which is really cool. And the gunplay is pretty cool too, as the enemies, they start to get stronger as you keep filling up the resistance meter, so it's always a challenge to deal with those baddies, and the gunplay makes it really very enjoyable. Almost 5 years later, this game still looks pretty good and is a decent performer too. But this title has its fair share of weaknesses as well, and for me personally, the first one has to be the mute protagonist. I personally don't like a mute protagonist throughout the story, it really feels awkward. The second negative has to be the out of the blue boss fights. Like once you have filled the resistance meter, you are just abducted and you cannot do anything about it. You are just thrown into a boss fight and it just breaks the immersion completely and is downright hilarious. The third negative has to be the bland characters on the resistance side. The villains are really cool, but the characters on the good side or your side, they are pretty bland actually and forgettable overall. And the fact that your protagonist is mute as well does not help either, which creates a weird balance issue between the two sides, which is obviously a negative. And I'm personally also not a big fan of the side quests in this game. But overall, it is still an enjoyable title with an amazing cast of side villains, a good main antagonist, a huge arsenal of weapons to choose from, a new setting, good graphics, and decent performance. And the tamed wild buddies, along with the specialists with their various cool new abilities, really spice up the gameplay. So, yeah, this title is totally worth it almost 5 years later if you are willing to forgive it in a few areas. So, that was pretty much it. Do check out other videos on the channel. Thank you very much for watching and peace out.